Arriaga. I was asked by one of my former employees to remind them how to use the random number generator formula in Excel. So this is an atypical type of video for me to create, but I figure might as well create one because it's an opportunity for you to create a new skill and help you hopefully with either your performance or your team's performance. And so when and how would I use this? So let's say, for example, you've determined that you need a random sampling. Now, this video is not intended to go over what a sampling size is, what an appropriate sampling size is, and how to figure that out. You can look that up on the internet, or I can create a video for that at a different time. This is assuming that you know that you need a random sampling and you know the size. How could I, or how would I create one? And so what I wrote over here is that you might use it, for example, if you're manufacturing and you're creating 1,000, 100,000, 1 million widgets, and you need to pull 100, 500, 5,000 samples randomly selected. Or it might be, for example, that you held a office lottery. Let's say your office consists of a couple hundred people and you want to randomly select 5 winners. You don't have the little machine with the balls and the numbers available where you crank and you just pick numbers randomly. So you want to use something else. So Excel will be a tool that's available to you. Or it might be, for example, that you have an employee who's on a performance plan, a PIP, performance improvement plan, and you want to review the quality of their records over a day, a week, or a month. And during that period, they've generated a couple hundred, couple thousand records. And so you've decided that I want to pick a number of records, but again, I want to randomly pick records. So I've auto-populated the columns on the left. And the reasons I selected number 1, 2, 3, 4, because you can see that they're already in sequence. And so when we're done, we're going to kind of put them in a big jar, tumble them, turn them around, mix them all up, and then we're going to pick numbers out. And that's what you're going to see that the random formula allows you to do. So what I do is I have this employee I01, and so the purpose of that is just to show you that these are different unique employees. So employee 1 could be me, employee 2 could be you, employee 3 could be 4. A different employer could be Jim, Jane, Mary. The point is that these all have a unique ID somewhere in their data set. And so at the rand column, and so you can call it anything that you want to, but I call it random, I'm going to type in equal. So equal is the way that you tell Excel, I want to use a formula. R-A-N-D, rand is the way that it knows. It's the command to create a random number. And then it'll automatically create a parentheses, which allows you to enter any other variable in there if you want. But I'm just going to hit the type in enter, or actually click on the return or enter key. So it closes the parentheses and just inserts a number that I randomly generated. So here goes, equal R-A-N-D. So you see it starts to auto-populate. I'm going to hit my tab key, created the open parentheses. I'm going to hit the return key, close the parentheses, and created a number. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is, because I wanted to create a random number all the way from the first cell down to the last one. And so if I move my cursor to the bottom right, you see a little box over here, it turns color, turn to black. And if I double click, it's going to auto-populate a random number from the first cell to the next adjacent empty cell. So in this case, column D has a variable, a value in every cell. So I'm just going to double click and it created a number. So these numbers are, again, randomly generated. They're not in any order. And so now what I want to do is basically kind of take all the names of the employees, all the names of the widgets, whether it's a product ID, something that's unique, put them up in a big container, mix them all up and just start selecting numbers. And so I'm going to do that by telling this column over here, and it knows that it's related to the columns to the left. I'm going to say basically put it in a ascending or descending order. And so let me find that, say insert, and I'm just kind of looking where would I find the formula for this. And basically I already have a shortcut up here. So it says A to Z or Z to A. So basically put it in ascending or descending. And because this column has already been randomly created, it does not matter. What does matter is look at column A, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all sequential down to the number 122. That's because I use 122 rows of data. So when I select Z to A, notice column A and all the adjacent columns, basically they resorted themselves in that order, and the order of the randomly selected numbers. So if I had the employee who is on a performance plan and they created, let's say, 122 records, and I want to pick just 10 records randomly, now that I've used this formula, all I'm going to do is pick records number 19, 74, 100, 2, 18, 104, 33, 119, 97. If I decided to kind of mix this up, and I'm just going to reset it, so I'm going to hit Command Z because I'm using an Apple computer. In your case, you might use Control Z. If I decided that I want this to be, I think I selected initially ascending order. Now I'm going to select descending order. So I'm going to click on Z to A. I'm just going to click outside of it, hit Z to A of this column. And you see once again on the column A, the new order is 46, 118. So now imagine you had an office lottery. Everybody got a number between 1 and 122. And you can use any data set. It could be 1,000 records, 500 records, doesn't matter. I just happened to stop at 122. But I ran an office lottery, and I'm saying the first 3 numbers, 4 numbers, 5 numbers that are randomly selected from this population are the winners. The winners are whatever prize you have. So I would just take whoever has number 46, whoever has 118, 103 if you're picking the top 3, 111, and then number 16 if you're picking the top 5. So that's a way of using the random formula in Excel. You have to kind of figure out where else can I use it, how can I apply its form, fit, and function in my area of expertise. But it's a good formula to know. It's good to understand. It's a good tool to have available to you if you ever need to randomly select any data set. Again, it doesn't cover how to determine what a appropriate sampling is from a statistical perspective. That's a different video that you can look up on YouTube, or one that I may create in the future. But the RAND formula is very useful to be aware of and to know how to use it. So this is Rich Arriaga. I hope this is helpful. Have a great day.